This is an update to the single stick angle 1 and angle 2 video that I made 5 years ago when this channel kind of actually started. And the idea in this video is to give you a good framework to begin your training. Now whether you already have a teacher or you're trying to learn online, this is one of the really important exercises. This, the one before this, the video before this and the video after this are three of kind of the backbones of what's going to become your main structure in your solo practice. So we've just gone through our basic ranging footwork and now we're going to begin our first strikes. Now I'm going to imagine a clock in front of me. So 12 o'clock is in front of my head, 6 o'clock is in front of my groin. Right now 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock don't matter, but they can either be around your elbows or around your shoulders. That's up to you. My first strike, what I will call an angle 1, goes from 1 o'clock, if I have it in my right hand, goes from 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Angle 2 on my right hand goes from 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Now this is of course going to reverse when I go to my left hand. On my left hand, angle 1 is 11 to 5, angle 2 is 1 to 7. Now I'm going to coordinate this with my footwork. So I'm going to step 45 degrees, same ranging footwork. I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, backwards, again backwards, now sideways, one more time, and now the double step, again in all 6 directions, front, front, back, back and side, side. Sticking to the clock, this is really important that we stick to the clock right now. Okay, so that's your basic angle 1, angle 2. Now there are some things that I like to keep in mind as a checklist for when I'm doing almost anything, but especially this. The first is that I want to ensure that where these knuckles are, not my punching knuckles, where these knuckles are, that's where the edge of the blade is. And so I want to be aligning my edge the entire time. I don't want to be slapping, I don't want to be hitting with the back of the blade. I want to be cutting all the way from 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock. I want to be cutting all the way from 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock. I want to be cutting. That's the first thing. The second thing is my wrist alignment. I do not want to flail my wrist like this. Most Filipino martial artists and most Filipino martial arts will tell you to have a 90-degree angle between your stick and your forearm. For me, that's okay. I prefer having a little bit more than 90 degrees so that when my arm is at its full extension, my weapon is the thing that's most in front. We do not want to have this flailing of the wrist, because when you make contact with something like this, it's going to hurt your wrist. So edge alignment, wrist alignment. Next is loading position. I want to make sure I am touching my shoulder before the strike, touching my shoulder before the strike, before each strike. So before the angle 1, I'm going to touch my forehand shoulder. Before the angle 2, I'm going to touch my backhand shoulder. I'm going to try and keep my stick parallel to the ground and the middle of my weapon making contact with my shoulder. That's to avoid me doing something like this, which becomes a very telegraphed and very big strike. It's very easy to hit the hand, or something like this, which is just me playing kind of like the drums, right? Parallel to the ground and middle of the body means I can still have some amount of power, but I'm not telegraphing the strike to do it, and I'm not cutting out my own extension or range. I'm still extending, I still get all the benefits of the loading positions. In the beginning, the loading positions are very important, right? So again, edge alignment, wrist alignment, loading position. And now the last one is going to be follow through. The way follow through was explained to me is if I am fighting someone over there, follow through deters the person coming from behind me. It stops the person coming from behind me, right? However, for me, I prefer thinking of it as a way for power. I have two major types of slashes, and we've gone over that very often on this channel. I have fluid slashes, slashes with a follow through, and I have broken slashes, slashes without a follow through. The entire point of the follow through is power, right? You play any racket sport, any kind of bat sport, and we're always talking about that follow through because it gives us more power. So again, for this one, we want edge aligned, again these knuckles. I want my wrists aligned 90 degrees or a little bit more than 90 degrees, but not flailing. I want to be going 1 to 7, 11 to 5. I want to be going from my shoulders to my loading position, and I want to have a nice big follow through. The big mistake you're going to make in the beginning, especially in that angle 2, is going to be this. This is not a follow through. I'm jamming myself by keeping my elbows so close. I want a nice big follow through. In the beginning, you can even think of exaggerating the follow through, that's fine, because it's easier to make a bigger movement smaller and more kind of efficient than being really jammed and then trying to fix that later, right? So again, we're going to work equally on our right hand and on our left hand with our footwork. The last thing we're going to talk about is coordination between my hands and my feet. If I have to strike a target and I have to step to be able to reach it, if I step without striking, I'm in range of my opponent and he's going to hit me. But if I strike without stepping, I'm not going to reach my opponent. So I want to hit as I'm stepping. And same for when I come back. If I hit and then come back, there's this empty space that my opponent can fill. If I come back and I hit, I'm not going to reach. Now I want to hit as I step, hit as I come back, hit as I step, hit as I come back, hit as I step, as I come back, as I step, as I come back. The same for the double step. I'm hitting as I'm stepping, hitting as I'm coming back, hitting as I'm stepping, hitting as I'm coming back.